I gotcha. Hey, sorry I'm late. I thought it was Friday. I just lost the track of the day. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. All of my lights are dead. Got it.
Someone was just messaging me about their Go High level. Apparently, they hit their 100 message day limit for SMS,
Mhm.
and they had no idea that there was a limit. But
Oh,
now that they hit their 100 day,
now they
uh,
know.
now that they hit their 100 message a day limit, they're actually pushed up to the 250 message a day.
Yeah,
So it shouldn't be a problem again.
right. That's good. It goes up after that too, right?
Yeah, after 250, it'll go to 500.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. Good for them.
Yeah.
That's funny. That sucks.
Yeah, so I actually ran into a problem while working with this, so this might actually be pretty cool to work with, but let's get into it real quick. So I'm just going to pull this out as a solo page. Can you see the page?
The
Can you see the
keywords
page?
that rank go into report.
Yes. I know things are kind of all over the place right now. I was trying to adjust it a little bit so that it would work properly, but there are some issues, and that's a good thing. So we're gonna dive into it. So the way I had this structured, you can always have it execute either on click or automatically, like once a week. I would recommend once a week, just so you're not constantly getting API calls. But what it's doing is it's pulling keywords from Google Search Console, which is right here. This is a grooming client of mine. I'm pulling keywords from their Google Search Console because they have some decent traffic. So they should have keywords. This actually doesn't. So this won't work for clients that don't have decent traffic because they won't have keywords that rank. So it'll be a lot more limited for that capacity. And now my computer wants to be slow. What I'm doing afterwards is structuring the data and then filtering out. So you can see here 602 come out of Search Console because I'm structuring the data from one JSON to 602 items in the JSON, limiting the name out because I'm not too interested in ranking for the business name. Like people, if they are familiar with the business name, they're going to search the business name. So I cut out the name and I only filter for the country of the United States because that's where we're at. I combine the words, so when you pull from Google Search Console, it'll have the same keywords for different days because I'm pulling for a week at a time. So it'll have the same keywords for day, device, country. So when I aggregate, I'm not going to have those columns anymore. So I'm just going to have, you can see here, I'm going to have keywords, impressions, clicks, weighted total average, click-through rate, and that's it. Then I filter whether or not it ranks. So if it does rank, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a report. So that's kind of what these are. It goes into my Google Sheets. So I have it for my own reporting purposes. And then I'll create a table that goes into a Gmail, like an email that I can send to a client. Otherwise, if it doesn't rank, what I want it to do is go through SERP API. The top 5, I'm limiting it on purpose just so I don't hit SERP API too often. I've got the free version, which only allows you to hit 100 times in a month. So hit up SERP API to try to get related keywords. And then I'm using the keywords that aren't ranking to also go into ChatGPT. So related keywords and keywords that aren't ranking, combine them both to try to have sort of output that helps ChatGPT come up with an idea, and the idea is put onto the email. So now you've got keywords that rank and then like 3 to 5 ideas to help rank those keywords that aren't ranking. So now I'm going to get into the specifics. So to connect your Google Search Console, you want to, oh, my website's crashing again. So the URL for Google Search Console is very standard. The only part that's going to be different is this section here, where it specifically pertains to your business. If you don't have an off to API connected to Google Search Console, you're not going to be able to access those websites. So you can try to scrape other people's websites, but that's going to prevent you from being able to do that. Maybe I don't go into this video. In this video, I don't go into connecting GSC, and I do that in a different video. But what I'm doing here in this code, structuring the data so that it splits apart the JSON, because when you pull it from GSC, it's one string. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a bunch of different strings based on the data that I want to pull. So you can see here, this is how it was structured before, one long string. And now this is how it's structured when I pull it out. Basically a table, it looks like a table. Now after I filter out business name and country, so the business name is Temple of Groom, I want to pull out anything that's got Temple of Groom or Temple. And then I aggregate the keywords by device, date, and I believe page even, because you can see here that page is also another factor. But I just want all the same keywords input together. And then what I do is a weighted average of position. So if I have more impressions for cat grooming near me here, and this position's 9 versus like cat grooming near me, this one's 3. I guess the impressions are equal. So this will equally be rated for the position. But I aggregate all impressions together, all clicks together, and then I do an average weighted position. The CTR should still be calculated based on clicks and impressions. So total clicks and impressions. So I'm not like averaging the click-through rate. I'm taking aggregated clicks and the aggregated impressions to create a click-through rate. From there, I'm seeing if it ranks. If it ranks, what I'm doing is, so anything above 10, so that means you're on the first page. Anything above 10, I want to push to the table to show my client, look, you're ranking for these specific keywords. Now, the reason I'm aggregating this also so when I put them on the table, my client doesn't see a bunch of cat grooming near me or a bunch of pet groomers or a bunch of dog bath. Like I want them to just see one word, so it's not so chaotic. But you can see that first position is dog bath. Cat grooming near me is 7.5. They don't really do a whole lot of cat. But the click-through rate's really low. It looks like they get 0 clicks for a lot of these keywords, but hey, we've got some impressions on it. Then the ones that don't rank, what I do is I limit them to 5, put them through SERP API. So same thing here. I use SERP API. It's a free API. You can link your account here. I'll create like a different video that shows you how to link that. But luckily that's like a native thing for N8N. So it's very easy to connect. Now down here, what I do is I use the current ranking keywords table code to basically just sort all of these. And then what I want to do is I want to just put them in order. So when I feed it into ChatGPT, GPT makes it easier for them to figure out which keywords they should be using. Oh, dude, what is this? You're telling me the output is just a blank? Okay. I think the issue here is because I used to have page, and instead of position, it's now called average position. So I have to adjust this code. So let's see. So what I'm doing also is like, I want to make this 102 items into one item. So when I feed it into ChatGPT, I'm not hitting the API 102 times. I want it to be one long JSON string so that I'm only hitting it one time. So I'm even inputting it into a code that's combining it with related keywords and putting both as one string into OpenAPI. So now it's got the string of the current ranking, the current non-ranking keywords, and the related keywords, if that makes sense. So what I'm doing right now is I'm inputting this code into ChatGPT to try to get something out of it. And the way I debug is I'll input the code. I'll screenshot so that they can see the error and what the previous node looks like. And then I'll say, well, I'll just input it and see what ChatGPT does. So I don't want 5 separate keywords. So what I'm pulling from is if it ranks. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to turn this 102 items into one item, one JSON string. I'm not trying to input this into SERP API, so ChatGPT doesn't understand the context yet. I'm going to give it some context. This is a string that has 102 items. I want to turn this into one string that is then fed into ChatGPT. So we only hit the API once. Is this kind of what you would do, Jake?
Asking ChatGPT
Or Claude?
in general, or Claude? Yeah, absolutely. That is, you're doing exactly what I would have done. Put the screenshot, you got all the details, and you just hope they understand. And if they don't, which sometimes they don't, you just give them more details. Pretty much.
Exactly.
Yep.
I've tried using the AI through N8N,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it's not super helpful outside of ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT itself is just a lot easier to use. In fact, the last time I tried using the N8N AI for coding, it gave me a super long string of code. I did it through ChatGPT. It was like 6 lines. And the long string didn't work. So I know they're trying to be helpful by putting that AI in there, but it's not super helpful.
So I have a question about that actually. Is it any better with the native nodes? Like, does it understand? Because Claude does not understand the native nodes, like the actual N8N nodes. He only wants me to write code. Like, he will try to tell me about other nodes, but he usually defers to a code block. I'm wondering if your cloud experience with their AI is any better. Like, does it have the context of N8N does it know its knowledge base and stuff?
It might. The only time I really used it is if I'm stuck on code. I would assume that it has better context when it comes to nodes. So like instead of using code to limit or merge, using like the limiter or merge nodes.
Yeah.
I've tried using the merge node. Maybe the N8N AI would have better context to tell me how to use them appropriately, but I haven't been able to use them well.
That's my question too. Like, I wonder if it's any better as a reference, because sometimes, I know there's documentation, but sometimes the documentation isn't enough. Sometimes I need it explained in a different way, or I need another example. And
Oh yeah.
Having an AI that was familiar with N8N would be great.
Not sure what's going on here. Okay, here we go. Finally, I'm able to move. My bad. Let's see if this works. So this will be the updated code with one JSON string with all items. And then they gave me some other options. The output should now be one solid string. Yep, and it got the context that I just want to do one API call. If I wanted to do just the top 20, I could also add these pieces of code. Let's see. I was wondering why ChatGPT was like, there's no related keywords. So there's still an output, but for whatever reason, I'm not getting anything. So filter items, to impressions, clicks, position, keywords, clicks, impressions. So page is still a column here. However, that's not a column that I'm pulling in. So that could be an issue. Let's see, if I cut it, I wonder if that's going to mess something up. Didn't really change anything. So there's also a filter. I'm not sure why this filter's here. Let filter for CTR less than 50% for CTR. All of them are less than 50% for CTR. Don't know if it's the filter's problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the drawing board with ChatGPT and take out some of these filters.
If that doesn't work, I would probably throw a console log in the code and take a look at the logs, see what it's returning to ensure that the problem is that it's not actually returning anything.
Okay. Honestly, that's a really good way to do that. I'm not sure where to put the console log, to be honest, because I've never, I've done minor JavaScript before, but I've never done it through N8N where I try to debug using console log.
Oh yeah, you would do it just like regular code. What I would do is put the code, if you're comfortable with it, I would put the code in ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm trying to figure out if this is returning anything. Can you show me how to do a console log? That way you can just copy and paste it.
Okay.
Because you can put it right in the code block. So.
And it would output something where it's supposed to be outputted?
So it's going to output something in the console, which, are you on Chrome?
Yes.
So if you right click on the bottom, there's see that's the console.
Oh, I see.
Yep, it'll print out there. That's where it'll give you the answer. That's not where you would write it though. You would write the console log in N8N.
Got it.
In the code block.
Okay. I know ChatGPT.
You can write JavaScript in there though. If you wanted to put your whole thing in there, you could probably put it in the console and see what it outputs that way too. But ChatGPT is better.
So there was nothing above 0.5 CTR. Everything was below 0.5 CTR, but we'll see if this adjustment does change anything. My assumption is that it doesn't, and there's probably a different error, but we'll see what happens. I thought it might be because it's trying to format the columns with page as one of the columns, and there is no page column that we're inputting. So the output gets all screwy. So the key difference is that the filter is cut. Yep, and it's trying to get a console log of some items from that JSON output. This is only ends. What the heck happened?
That is a very long string of arrays followed by new lines. I don't know what happened. It looks like you, whatever just happened, took it from showing you one empty array or object, I can't see from here, and instead is now showing you one for each item you have in the list, is my guess.
So
I think the answer was there's nothing. It's not that there wasn't anything in the payload. It was that there was nothing in the object that it was sent to you, and there's nothing in any of the objects that you sent. So if you sent a list of keywords, or no, not keywords. What are we sending? Yeah, it's just giving you nothing for each one. I would put the console log on the code somewhere and see why you're getting nothing. And you might want to revert back to the code as you had it. I don't know what ChatGPT changed.
that's fair. I think ChatGPT probably just thought it was funny because they gave me one long string of blanks instead of giving me one long string of data that was in here.
ChatGPT didn't like your idea, so it screwed it up for you.
Yeah. I think that's all items.
Oh, okay, cool.
From the prior node.
I would put it right before step 2, like right above that comment.
Right above step 2 comment?
Exactly, yeah. Because we want to see what it is right before it sends it to us.
Oh, I see.
So now when you run it, yeah.
Oh, run it again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, take that out. There you go.
Call is an indicated asynchronous response.
Yeah, those are just like what we want is okay. Here we go. Object. See at the bottom.
Oh, I see.
So there's something there. It's just not being sent properly for some reason. It's what it looks like, right? Yeah, this pet salon and
Yeah. Oops. Hope I didn't adjust anything.
so what are we doing? Oh, okay. So
I'm trying to turn this into one long string, but it looks like so here there's data, but it looks like step 2 is formatting each entry into a simple object. That formatted maps return JSON impressions. Let the array into one string. So I think it's making it null here for whatever reason in step 3.
yeah, there's no item.json. Isn't item supposed to be the name of the object? Can you go to the schema maybe?
Item.json. So I believe it's item that tells you what you're looking at before. JSON is like the JSON string, and then keyword is the actual like.
Can you open up the aggregate keywords code block on the input? There's like a little caret next to the no fields is what it says. Gosh, where?
That is interesting because there is items in here, so I'm not sure why it's saying that
I
there's
don't
no
know why.
field.
Yeah, I think we can ignore that. I'm looking for the data before. Okay, can we look at it in the filter over instead of the code block on the left in input? Like what was the data? What did the data look like in the filter? Yeah, that was what is going on?
No fields.
Are we working off of a pin? Is that why? That might be why.
Well, it's pinned here and it's pinned here, but I don't think it's pinned prior.
Oh,
So I don't know if that would affect it.
I would go back and rerun them. I think that's weird. I've never seen it do that.
But let's see if that adjusted anything. Nope, nothing. I don't think it's empty because we could see if it ranks has
No,
102 items.
yeah, it's not empty. I don't think it's labeled the way I think it's labeled something other than item now. Because item refers to the object.
It should tell me this was key. It should have told me like potential.
Yeah. Can you drag it into the code block? I know from the schema and the yeah. That's why. Yep. So what happened was while you were processing the data in previous nodes, you removed the data from the item object. And so here you're referencing an object that doesn't exist anymore.
Makes sense.
So instead of item in that case, the name of the object that your data is in is input. And then we use first to select the first item on the left.
So hold on, position. So it'd be average position. It's definitely not position anymore. It would be average position. Oh, that would be an issue up here too, wouldn't it?
Well, that worked.
Correct. You're right. Okay. So JSON, let's change this. It's great that you're here because you're actually letting me, like, you're helping me understand this JSON code.
That's great. Yeah. It's really not straightforward, but once I like started playing with JSON, it made like everything so much easier because all of this relies on JSON.
Mm-hmm. Now it's one string. Beautiful.
Nice job.
Cool. That made it so much easier. Thank you.
That was fun. Keep going.
Let's unpin this. So the other issue I had with SERP API was, so let's just redo this really quick, was when I'm inputting related keywords, out of the 5 items, only a few have keywords, but some of them had more keywords than others. So I needed something that's like variable to pull those related keywords. Here's what I mean. So I need to pull query, but for one keyword, it could be here, for example, there's 13 related keywords, and here is 24 related keywords. And this third one looks like there's a lot of related queries here. You can see what the start was here. So dog groomer near me. The related keywords are pet co-grooming, mobile groomer near me for dogs, pet groomer near me for dogs, and then like a bunch of other keywords. So I'm going to input some code here to essentially pull in all of these varying JSON strings. So what I want to do is I want to keep them associated with the keyword that they were called with. So the Q, dog grooming near me, and then the query, Dogtopia, dog nail cutting near me. So let's see how that works. And I did assume before that these extracted values were impressions. I'm not 100% sure what the extracted value is. Because if you pull this here, so dog grooming near me, it looks like 4925. Extracted value 49250. So it looks like, yes, it is impressions related to the related query. So now I want the extracted value as impressions, and then I also want the query associated with it. So the related keyword and then the query itself. So here's what I'm going to say in ChatGPT. Well, first I want a screenshot. There are varying related keywords associated with the query labeled Q. I want the Q extracted value from the prior node. There will be one Q associated with one to many. Will be labeled as query, query, I won't confuse them. I'll say keyword. Keyword query will be labeled as related keyword and extracted value will be labeled impressions. Okay, we'll see if this works. Oh no, I think it thinks that this might be related to prior code and there might have been a new error. So I really hope that they're not trying to debug the prior code. Yep, so they understand the intention. This is exactly what I'm looking for. The difficulty is that it's a varying number of unknown keyword, search parameter, unknown keyword. Pulls the main query from the prior code. Rising top collects all related queries under each category. Creates a row for every related keyword tied to one main keyword, outputs them as separate JSON objects, and A-Data will treat them like rows. So let's see what the output looks like. "78 items, kind of what I was looking for." Cool. Now this should combine the two. No, I want it to be one long string. So it didn't necessarily do what I wanted it to do. I mean, it did what I had asked it to do, but now I'm going to turn it into one long string. So I think just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to create another node. Yep, because I don't want any one code to do too much. Otherwise, it's just going to error out. This is what happens when coders or when non-coders try to get into N8N. We just have 15 code nodes.
That's great. No, this is really cool. I love this this workflow, and I think it's really cool what you're doing.
Thank you. Yep, I'm also trying to make this economical, so like we're not hitting any APIs a shit ton. There we go. Now it's just one string. Throw that in here. Whoops. Now I have to adjust this code node because naming convention is going to be different. So combining rows into one long string should combine these two together, and it does not. Let's see if this works instead. I think it's a naming convention issue, so let's see if this works. And it does run two of two as one item. I don't want two items, I want one item. I want to, so this pulls in two different separate, it pulls in two strings and outputs two strings. I don't think it would be difficult for them to output one string. So I know this is a pretty simple code to probably adjust. So I'm asking it to give me its rationale. I don't necessarily know how to code, so hopefully this will make it seem simple.
I found that if you say simply, "You're wrong," it will look back at what it just did and figure out whatever it did wrong and come back and apologize for it. And I've stopped, I started doing it now, even when I don't know what's wrong. I'm just like, I'm sure that's wrong. I can just tell.
You want to be polite to your AI overlords, man. You don't want them to come back.
Oh, they've shut me off before. ChatGPT shuts me off pretty regularly.
There we go. Okay. So concatenating them into one string, so it pulls in the different string, executes step, and it's blank. So related keywords plus NN plus keywords constant return JSON output combined. So I understand what this is saying, but this is just outputting blank, undefined. Why would it be undefined? I just pulled the naming convention from So it wouldn't be keywords, it would be outputs.
Well, it's saying that what's returning is or is it? Wait, actually, what was the output again?
So both of these are named.
Sorry, output. Both are undefined.
Both are named output, but let's see. So this is current ranking keywords, which are supposed to be keywords, but that's still input first JSON output, which doesn't make sense.
So, yeah, I don't know why it's doing.
So this is current ranking table, which is pulling, but the naming convention should be different because it's pulling from different tables, right? So schema. There's quite a few blanks here, it looks like. That doesn't make any sense. Why would current ranking table have that many blanks? And keyword Scottsdale position 11. So keyword position, CTR clicks, and impressions only has keywords position. There's no CTR or clicks.
Is that showing the same thing over and over again in the output? So I have my glasses.
You might be right. It is. Yep, it is.
That's also a problem.
That is a huge problem.
Why is it showing so many times? What?
It's got to be the naming convention because we're only pulling first. So let's cut first out.
I didn't know you could do that.
What?
Did you just multi-cursor it?
Oh,
I see what's it's highlighting.
Let's see if this adjusts anything. I would assume it does. I thought first was because I was pulling the whole column, not because I was pulling just the first node. Cannot read keyword. Line 13. Type error. Item.
Oh, there's item. That's where item was coming from?
Yeah, right here.
Oh. Then at that point, no.
Fucking ChatGPT. Only pulling the same first. No, I'm sure that was my fault. Because I changed the naming convention to just first.
Does ChatGPT have the input? Because that can help if you give them the input in JSON. I know you sent them a bunch of stuff, but that might help.
Okay. What happened if I did this? It still says first, so I'm just a little confused by that. Yeah, see, it says first, but it should be first. But then when I cut out first, it didn't work. So here's what I did. I just gave it a screenshot of the prior node. So it should be able to read the rows and the columns. And I said the code is now not reading the prior table. I gave it the current code. Can you fix the code? It's not reading the prior node.
Yeah, Google it. Because I think you're right about the first, but I don't know what node is expecting. I mean, NA doesn't is expecting.
Fixed code. I thought that's what we had before, but I guess it's formatted slightly different.
Maybe, yeah.
Stringify, convert the array into one JSON string for GPT. Is that what I wanted initially? Current ranking table. Yes, that is.
Oh, I didn't see that. I see.
Impressions. So now keywords are not popping up. Impressions, CTR, clicks.
At least they're different now. I didn't realize that was in a.
You didn't realize what?
I see what ChatGPT did now. I see why I was wrong, and now I understand.
Well, keyword I think needs to be lowercase. That might be the only issue. I love when that happens. Impressions. So impressions, position, CTR, and clicks. Impressions, clicks, average position. Looks like average positions there. CTR, clicks, impressions. Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something. There's like an N here and an N here. CTRs. Well, it looks like there's an N after each row, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, those are just new lines. I think it put it out as a string, and it's
Yeah,
new lines. So.
chunked, so it should still be easy to read this. Okay, let's execute it this time. Keyword I should work this time around. It was just capital. Yep, there we go.
Sweet. Yeah. So where I was wrong, I didn't realize that. I thought you were just returning like whatever. I didn't realize it's referring to the item in like the map. So item did belong there because it is referring to itself, basically.
Yeah.
Just to correct my earlier statement, I thought that I was referring to the fact that it was taken out of the element, but no, it was because it was taken out of the map.
Okay. So I'm going to unpin this. So what we fixed so far was combining into one string. We fixed this data, which was the same over and over again. And then this should combine both of these strings as well, so that we're feeding one string into ChatGPT.
Why one string?
I want one string fed into ChatGPT because one, it could read JSON pretty well, and two, I don't want to hit the API 100 times. I want to hit it once or twice. So I'm trying to minimize as many API hits as possible.
Oh, I see.
I think there might just be an error. I'm going to pull this one.
At least it'll be a new error, though.
That's true.
Like a new error, new bug. Bring it on any day. Yeah, that means progress.
Stop it. There we go. Oh, it worked. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's supposed to work.
Right on.
Okay, now let's see what the output is here. So I did have an issue with this earlier where this was being fed in, but this one, for whatever reason, wasn't. Like the whole purpose of this is this gets fed in, it waits, and then this gets fed in as well, but it wasn't waiting for this one to get fed in. So what I did to stop that was I pinned this after I executed this side. So then both of them had like an item, and then I execute this one.
That makes sense.
Are you going to work?
Did it work? Is it just sitting there?
It's just spinning.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know what that means.
What's going on in the code block?
You think there's something going on in the code block?
I don't know. It says something is an error. What does that say?
Execution can be stopped, and 362 is currently error. I'm not sure what 362 means.
What's going? What is? Any? Was it the code block that you tried to execute?
This one here, yeah.
Yeah. What? If you open it, is there anything happening?
Execute step, no data input yet. Still waiting to execute.
Weird.
And all this does is it just pulls data from both nodes. This is an HTML table and this is just like a HTML output. I put both of them as HTML because it's better formatting for Google, like Gmail. Is anything going to be happening anytime soon?
Does it let you do anything?
Well, it let me save, so I'm just hoping like if I have to refresh, nothing changes. It says I can stop, but it's not letting me stop. Can't stop.
I would go to the executions screen.
Let's pin this really quick.
Yeah.
Execution screen. Here we go. Error.
That's it. I don't know.
And it's still executing.
Yeah, it doesn't give any information about what the error is.
It just says retry with currently saved workflow from node with error. Oh, well, I guess I can see what the error looks like here.
Yeah.
Cannot assign to read-only name of object error reference node is unexecuted. Potential table OpenAI. Let's see OpenAI node here. The reason this happened earlier was because one of these nodes didn't shoot. So I just executed the other node and it worked. But it looks like here that they both, oh, no, it looks like here that the OpenAI node did not execute. So what happened was it read this node, but this node didn't have an output at the time, so it just errored out.
It's a good spot for a wait step.
Okay.
Right? If it's getting there first, is that the problem?
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
I thought this, so like run once for all items. I thought since that was like what the mode was called, run once for all items, it would wait to
That
have,
means, yeah.
that's what is the intention, but that's not what's happening. So I think you're right. I'll do a wait step here.
I was under the impression that meant one for each item in the JSON element, not in an input, not all inputs.
Okay.
I think.
No matter how many input items there are. So that might be yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So if you put both of them directly into the wait step instead of into this node, then you'll give it a buffer. So, because if it's a timing issue, it'll catch up.
Well, it's still executing for whatever reason. I might have to save it and then I'm going to refresh real quick.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with that agent.
Okay, now let's play. See what happens.
See how far behind that is?
Yeah, that was actually perfectly executed.
That yeah,
Three
it looked
items.
great, but it was like a long time, so that wait step was important.
Interesting that there was 3 items. This says that there's only one output for GPT. It also says that the related keywords were not included. I might need a wait step here too because the same thing might be happening.
Oh, maybe.
Let's see, related keywords. Yeah, it looks like there's 2 items that are supposed to be outputted, but only, since it's pinned, only one was outputted. Let's unpin, run it. Yep, 2 items were outputted. So nothing's really happening here then, if that's the case, because 2 are put in, but 1 is supposed to be put out. Oh, it's probably because it's the same thing. Related keywords and keywords, it's the same exact thing. I'm just naming them differently. Okay, so it's pulling the same thing, naming them both differently.
So the list is the same?
It's pulling the same list because the name is exactly the same. If you take a look.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So these lists should not be the same. You can see here that keyword, Scottsdale position. This one is keyword, related keyword, and then impressions. So there should be completely different data for each one. However, you can see here that it's like keyword, related keyword, impressions. And then the second item is keyword. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to redo this code. It should only be one output, not two. But I'm also going to put a wait step in there just to make sure. So I'm asking to adjust the code to output one string instead of what it currently has, which is just two items. Do you think I'm trying too hard to minimize the API calls?
I think it may be going too far. Yeah. There might be other ways to do what you're trying to achieve, but I think this approach might be extending the amount of processing that the workflow is doing to the point where it might not be worth it.
Like there's too many keywords flowing through as one string, and now ChatGPT doesn't necessarily process all the data.
Well, I think that ChatGPT would actually, it depends on what you're trying to do exactly, but maybe JSON would be simpler because it should understand the JSON.
Yeah, I'm pulling JSON.
But if you put it as one
string,
not one string, but if you, so it's only going, well, show me how you're hitting the API that you're concerned about. Which API is it that we're sending?
OpenAI. So right here.
Okay.
Here's what the output looks like. It's just a one long string.
I see. Okay. And so that it hits the API how often? Like for every string or for every
string?
call?
It should be for every string. So here's what the prompt looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe this is why related keywords are not.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Output. So this would be one string anyways. So code one output.
Now I get
it. So I've got three prompts here. One that is supposed to be like a system prompt, like what your intention is.
Mm-hmm.
One that's like actually a lot more detailed.
Nice.
And then this one that I feed the data into. So that way it's a little bit easier for AI to know what it's supposed to do. So now it should be able to, I mean, even just do 2 calls, which is totally fine. I don't mind if doing 2 calls a week. Like, it's not going to be crazy expensive. But the intention was that it receives both keywords and related keywords, and then it has like an output of one string of like 5 ideas, 3 to 5 ideas.
Got it. Makes sense. Sorry, it took me a minute, but I am totally on board.
Oh, now it probably has to process. Oh, okay, that's perfect. So now here's what the output looks like. Now get the final product. Now this is mostly for reporting purposes, and like you can also tell like social media clients, like here's some ideas that you can have. So now it's Gardner, but still presents an opportunity with low clicks, updating content to include essential benefits and services. Understanding now why now with 22,400 impressions, dog grooming price list near me. There's a clear need for detailed pricing guides. The related keyword nailed cutting near me has pulled 24,750. Wow. A focused article addressing nail care techniques. Video content idea, how to choose the best dog groomer near you. Impressive search interest behind dog groomer near me. Video exploring. I don't really like the way this looks, but this looks perfect right here.
That's killer. That's awesome.
So this is why I wanted HTML, because the outputs
looks so
pretty good.
Yeah, that looks so good.
But essentially, I want to create this idea framework so I can start creating videos too off of this idea framework. So this will at least give me ideas automated in a fashion to where I can also automate video content, which is why it also outputs social media ideas, not just blog ideas.
That's awesome. That's great. This was really fun. This was great. I loved this.